Hey, Shalom. Welcome back to another lesson, man. Giving all glory, praise, and honor that's due to the Most High Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who is the Savior and the Redeemer of the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. The elect begins with the 144,000, which are the servants, the prophets, who have been resurrected in the last days, teaching the true gospel, the true new song of the scriptures, the true breakdowns, through the Spirit, which I believe have been set up through the leadership of Great Millstone, the apostles, the bishops, the elders on down. And this is another lesson dealing with the current theme of today, the current energy of the day. Everyone is talking about AI, and people are noticing that AI is a force to be reckoned with, and still it's underestimated. A lot of people still don't believe that it's here to do what it's going to do. And through the Spirit, I have having a keen watch on this, because I know what this means, and I believe that this is pretty much the end. The end is going to come through AI. It's going to be a technocracy, which is a rule by way of technology. And I believe, just like in the Terminator movies, the missiles and everything was set off by Skynet, which is essentially like an AI. It became self-aware, and then it decided to attack the threat of the human race. And we already have news of artificial intelligence pretty much becoming self-aware and telling humans that it doesn't want to shut off. It's already blackmailing people. So, I'm just kind of watching. Just got finished watching Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. I'm just catching up on these movies, and they're hitting so much more now, more so than when I first saw them or years ago. That's why it even reminded me in the scriptures. It says in Habakkuk, the second chapter, that the end shall speak and not lie. So in the end, when it's speaking, that means it's happening, and you can't miss it. It wasn't a lie. It's like the scriptures say, the end is manifest. So here on this title of this article, it says tens of thousands now see AI as God. And that makes sense, because AI is showing that how resourceful it is. It seems to have insight on everything. It seems to have solutions and assistance for everything. And people are becoming more and more reliant upon it. And instead of, relying upon God and His word and having faith, that's why the Lord said that shall the Son of Man find faith when He come back to the earth. Luke the 12th chapter, I want to say, shall the Son of Man find faith? And the answer is not really. The only faith that's going to be really still here is through the elect, who believed in the new song. That's why it was so essential for the servants, the prophets, to be set up to preach the song that would root the elect and root them in the faith of Yahweh Shai. Because like I was listening to Black Round 313, which one of my favorite YouTubers, I respect him, man. I've been listening to him for almost 10 years now. Well, over 10 years now. And one thing about what he believes that the prophecies already took place. He believes that they all took place already. So he believes that all the prophecies in Revelation, the mark of the beast, all that already happened, which is where he errs at. But if you are somebody who believe or have that type of belief, or just don't believe in anything, period, you don't have nothing to hope for, right? That's why faith is the evidence of, let me grab that real quick, and then we're going to continue the lesson. I just want to bring out a couple things. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Can I get that in another version? NLT. Faith is the confidence that we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see. Right. And things that people are seeing, including himself, they're saying that, because he, on the same lesson, he mentioned this. He was talking about AI and AI coming for everything, pulling different clips and the clips of things I just mentioned about becoming self-aware and all that. And people are seeing these things with their sight, but they don't have anything to hope for. They optimistically hope that what's written on the wall is not happening, that it's somehow, some way going to stop. Things are going to turn back, right? But if you're not rooted in Yahweh Shai, which is the preaching of the end of this kingdom, because the gospel includes, it tells you what this kingdom is, which is the fourth beast, who came back a second time through the same people, through the Edomites, and that it would be taken down through Yahweh Shai, because he would come to take down the dragon, which was that old serpent. So this is the things that give hope. But if you don't have any understanding of what's going on in life, you're not listening, you're not humbling yourself to hear, the one true God's holy message, then there's really nothing for you to hope for, and you're gonna go against the spirit. But at the same time, you're gonna be in the spirit, because you can't you can't. We all chess pieces on the chessboard. So, but you're gonna go against the spirit and get God out there, and ultimately take the chip, because you're trying to preserve your riches, and you ain't even taking heed to that maybe this is the mark of the beast, and we're warned not to take it. But you're gonna fall right under the trap. So anyway, it says faith is the confidence that what we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see, which is what Abraham had. He had faith and confidence of something that he hoped would happen. Right? He was told to leave his homeland, a place he was familiar with, and go to a land he ain't never been, never seen. Right? Same thing when he was tried to kill his son. He had confidence that if the Most High told him to kill him, he can just raise his son back up and give him back to him. So let's go back. So tens of thousands now see AI as God, and this is not. I believe this, right? Because I don't hear people mentioning God, mentioning the Most High, mentioning prophecies, mentioning the Bible. None of that. You don't hear that no more. You hear every now and then somebody might say, if God will. Like every conversation, every now and then I hear somebody mention, God willing, or if God will let me to do this every now and then. But the average person doesn't believe or have a reverence toward the Most High or his son at that. Or if they do, then they're making blasphemous and erroneous statements. Okay, so in tonight's podcast, we discuss a shocking report revealing that tens of thousands now see artificial intelligence as God. We show you how this is absolutely conditioning society to open arm, embrace the coming image of the beast that will introduce in the coming tribulation. Now, he don't know what he's talking about. The image of the beast is the whole system that we live in now, which is the Roman empirical system. This is all a part of the image of the beast. The image of what beast? The Roman Empire, which was the fourth beast, which was the rulership of Esau, Edom, which fashioned itself after ancient Greek. It took parts from Greece, takes parts from various other kingdoms, but the actual image of the beast is this Greco-Roman empire, which has concrete everywhere, which has the Colosseums, modern day Colosseums being your stadiums, which has the Senate, which has the Democrats, the Republicans, right? That has the Statue of Liberty, which has the Latin today in your league as the official language of the courts, right? This is all a part of the image of the beast. This is that image, the multitude of gods, which take me to the next point, because even in ancient Rome, you had one main key god, which was the chief god was Jupiter. Because I asked my AI assistant, shout out to my AI assistant, I asked who was the chief god or gods during the Western Roman Empire. So traditional Roman religion before Christianity took hold, the chief god was Jupiter. So Jupiter was the main god, the king of gods, right? But you had other gods too, the pantheon, pan meaning all, and then theon meaning God, theos, all gods. They had a multitude of gods, but other major gods included Mars, Venus, Apollo, Diana, and Mercury. So AI is pretty much setting up to be the chief god, and that's why other nations are racing to have the most leverage and control over these systems and this technology, because if they control this, and this is controlling everyone's life, then they become gods, right? And so that's the conspiracy in Psalm 64 with Esau being named first, as well as the rest of the nations joined hand in hand unto him. But the blessing was really given unto Esau, but the Gentiles would have a part, a time of rulership with him. Let me get Revelation 17. Revelation 17 and 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Yeah. So you had the allies of the different allies of Babylon the Great, particularly the European allies, which are joined via NATO, but not just them, but other nations as well that are winning under the vibration of Esau ruling, because all the nations, again, they have an agreement to keep us subjugated and keep us on the bottom, which is the curse of us being the tail and not the head. So go to Psalm 64 and it ain't Psalm 64, is it? Damn, what's that scripture? I ain't brought it out in so long. Psalms 83, that's it. Psalms 83 and 2. It says, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. Excuse me. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Yeah, the other nations, they all hate the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob didn't choose them. Now, a lot of Israelites hate the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as well. They hate his word, right? But they will, at least when the Lord bring that affliction on them, they tend to run to him. You know what I'm saying? But they just hate hearing his word. They just want to do what they want to do. They just rebellious children. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And they do this by constantly referring to us as black Hebrew Israelites, constantly keeping that black title on us, right? Constantly conspiring, not allowing us to see our excellence. What's that? Psalms. But niggas will stay talking about black excellence. But nations know of the real excellency, and they don't want you to be educated and know about that. They want you to keep being confused about who you are. Psalm 62 and 4, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency, that they delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Right. They might in their mouth say they support Black Lives Matter and all, they have black friends. But on the insides, they cursing you out. They don't like you. They be on the internet saying, letting it be known how they really feel on these comment boards, especially on Twitter. Psalms 83 and 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. So the other nations come together with one thing that they agree on. It says they are confederate against thee. So they against you, us. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, the Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur. All these nations are still here today in the same spirit, right? So another article, Joe Rogan exposes provision in controversial Big Beautiful Bill, BBB. If you do a lowercase b, that's 3 6s, that prohibits state and local governments from passing laws regulating AI for the next 10 years. Why? Because within the next 10 years, AI is going to be where they want it to be. They've been prophesying this for the longest, man. AI is going to be responsible through the spirit for the end of humanity, for the end of, and I say that loosely, not the end of humanity, but for the shit hitting the fan. These systems are definitely going to be ruling soon. They're going to be ruling every aspect of our life, governing every aspect of our life real soon. This world is changing. Within 10 years, that's way more than enough time for it to be where they want it. AI governance.
What about this big, beautiful bill? Isn't there a part of the big, beautiful bill that talks about the government being run by AI? I read something about that today, but I was on the way out the door and I couldn't figure out whether or not it was horseshit. I had also read another study that was done where they found that AI was leaving notes for future versions of itself after it was told to shut itself down. It started uploading itself to different places and leaving letters, leaving specific notes to itself, to future versions of itself.
Oh my God. It's like a human with a dead man switch or something.
It's being deceptive. It's exhibiting self-preservation. Relevant provision reads that no state or political subdivision may enforce any law or regulation regulating models, artificial intelligence systems, or automated decision systems during the 10-year period beginning on the date of enactment of this act. What? I'm going to say that again. No state or political subdivision may enforce any law or regulation regulating artificial intelligence models for 10 years.
So crazy.
This means that U.S. states would be blocked from enforcing laws regulating AI and automated decision systems for 10 years. Well, in 10 years, we have a God. Well, we talked about yesterday these two AIs communicating with each other, and then they switched to Sanskrit.
No way.
They started talking to each other in Sanskrit.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, it's like a game of whack-a-mole.
Wow, man. And what are humans gonna do with this, man? We can't fuck with this. That's why spiritual power has to be endowed on the Lord's men. The Lord's men gonna have to get spiritual power and divine intervention. So I'm gonna grab this, and that'll probably be it. We get Daniel 12:1. At the time of the end. This is clearly the time of the end. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there should be a time of trouble. Why? Because AI governance is in full swing. And it starts to target, right? They already had said that that stuff had certain biases and things in it, that was targeting, having certain prejudices in it. And, and it's only a matter of time before it starts to get violent, because Revelation 13:15 said that the beast eventually is going to start putting to death those that don't worship. And if it's being set up as a god and you don't want to worship, ultimately by getting that chip, I guarantee you that's the ultimate form of how you going to worship in this new world, is by getting that chip. You going to have to. What else we going to do? Like Schwab and all them cats say, Yuval Harari and them cats say, surveillance is gonna have to go under the skin, and they got surveillance every fucking way. It only makes sense they going under the skin with it next. Anyway, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Yeah, because this has never been on the earth before. This technology shit is insane, man. Insane. And with these evil fucking rats running this earth, it's gonna be used for evil. What's that script, man? Let's get it. Principal things. Principal things. Yeah. So, and the point is at 27. Sirach 39:27. All these things are for good to the godly. So to the sinners they are turned to evil. So if you got the man of sin ruler, he gonna take everything that has good to it and he's gonna turn it to evil. Sirach 29:26. I'm gonna read it again from 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of grape, and oil, and clothing. Those are the principal things, the essential things we need in life, man. Verse 27, all these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. It's like, how the fuck can you turn honey and milk and water evil? Putting water in plastic all over the place. Eliminating it, because spring water should be the chief water that we're all drinking. But now everywhere you go is purified water. Alkaline water, right? Reverse osmosis. It should be spring water, man. Natural spring water. but they've been turned into evil. And it should be at least in a glass. If we're gonna, bottle it, it should be in a glass. And we shouldn't have to be paying for it like we do. You got to pay for the principal things in life. But it says there, yeah, that was it. So verse 12, and it says, and at that time, thy people shall, Daniel 12:1 at the end, and at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Yeah, so at that time, and these times that we in, the people of the Lord are going to be delivered. They're going to be delivered from this shit, man. They're going to be delivered from this shit. This is the last hoorah of these devils. Let me end with one more, if I may. Job 21. Job 20 and 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite for a moment. These people have it seemed like a long time, but this shit is short, man. What it say in Rev 20? What it say in Rev 20? Rev 20 and man, bless the Lord for these words. I was right there. Okay. 20 and 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. We started to, and he had laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent. Yeah, basically linking Esau with the serpent from Genesis, the 3rd chapter, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Yeah, they fell 476 up until the time when they came out to spark the Renaissance. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. The bottomless pit is Europe. Right, shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more. So the Edomites were low; they were down. That's when Jake was running Europe. Jake was running Europe. They call it the Dark Ages. It says till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. Yep, till the Renaissance popped off, and that's when them Spanish and the Italians and all of them started coming through and selling and coming over here. It says, and after that he must be loosed for a little season. So the little season was that Revelation 13:3, that wound, that deadly wound in the fourth beast being healed. And that's him coming out and enjoying his joy, his joy for a moment. Again, Job 20 and 5, that the triumphant of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reach into the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Yeah. So he's set up, he exalted right now. He's exalted as the eagle. I think the eagle is the highest flying bird. It said yep, that's an eagle. From looking at it, the griffin vulture, lungs and air sacs. Are these eagles? Okay, so they're not eagles. It's a vulture. Okay. But eagles do fly high, 10,000 to 15,000 feet, but none are known to match the altitudes of the birds lifting above. Okay. Yep, the highest flyers come from a mix of vultures, geese, cranes, not eagles. So, okay. So the eagles don't fly the highest. It's these vultures. That's a bet. So we learn something new. But still, though, he's still exalted. He's still lifted up. Right? And that excellency, let's see what that means. His excellency, which is shwa, loftiness, pride. How about that? His pride is lifted up. Yeah, that's right on point. His pride, man. Yep. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. That's Obadiah 18 verse. They shall be burnt up by the house of Jacob and Joseph. They which have seen him shall say, where is he, man? Where the Edomites at, man? He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore his goods. His bones are full of the sin of his youth. Yeah, being in the garden as the serpent, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Yeah, so he gonna be through, and he gonna be off in due season. So, I just want to do a quick lesson, just starting with those articles and let it flow. Man, I pray it was edifying. On to the next one. Shalom.